Rihanna was like, I just wanted to be her.
So my parents were like, be realistic. Like, you need to work. This can be a side, a hobby.
All of y'all my bad pay. Y'all make enough money off of me.
This drama between Tyler and Rihanna just took a wild turn, and it's not just about music anymore. What's unfolding is a battle over power, image, and who really gets to run the global pop throne. Tyler is finally speaking up, and the way she's talking, it sounds like pure shade, pointing out how Rihanna's shadow might be holding her career back. Fans are convinced there's more tension here than either side wants to admit, and it's only getting messier. But before we dive too deep, let's set the scene, because this isn't just Tyler versus Rihanna. No, this feels like an entire industry chess game, with these two women as the queens being moved across the board. And right now, we're seconds away from fireworks. Count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Tyler's rise was nothing short of explosive. In 2023, her track Water went viral on TikTok, and suddenly the whole world knew her name. That record didn't just make noise, it cracked the Billboard Hot 100 and scored her a Grammy for Best African Music Performance. Overnight, she went from local sensation to South Africa's crowned pop princess. The glow-up was real, but with fame came comparisons. Fans were quick to draw lines between Tyler and Rihanna. The style, the confidence, even the hair. Some photos had people clowning Tyler for looking like she was cosplaying Rihanna's old looks. And you already know, the internet is brutal. Comment sections were flooded with people calling her a copycat, an industry plant, and accusing her team of stealing Rihanna's playbook line for line, move for move. But Tyler wasn't about to sit back and stay quiet. Early on, she addressed it head on, saying, "Rihanna is Rihanna." It's a compliment. But at the same time, I'm my own artist. I'm Tyler. And I know as people get to know me and my music, they will see me as just Tyler. On the surface, that sounds polite, but read between the lines and she's clearly saying, stop boxing me into Rihanna's shadow. I have my own identity. And then came the moment that made fans sit up even straighter. Tyler doubled down with a cryptic post about people secretly recording her conversations. She wrote, "Talking to me about secretly recording is so weird." Fans instantly took it as shade toward the industry and maybe even at Rihanna herself for keeping her boxed in as the next Ryrie. But here's the twist. Rihanna didn't just sit back and ignore it. Around the same time, she posted her own cryptic quote on Instagram. "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Instantly, fans connected the dots. Was this Rihanna's subtle way of warning Tyler to stay in her lane? Or was she simply brushing off the idea that anyone could replace her? Sure, Rihanna could have been talking about anything or anyone, but when you look at how Epic Records has been marketing Tyler and how the industry has moved in the past, it's not hard to start wondering, is Rihanna's jealousy, or at least her refusal to co-sign, actually blocking Tyler's growth? That question alone has fans spiraling, and the drama, it's only heating up. Let's really break this down, because from Tyler's viral rise with Water, to the endless copycat claims, to the whispers of Sabotage, this story has everything. And by the time we're done, you'll see why so many fans believe Rihanna might be quietly making sure Tyler never reaches her full potential. When Tyler dropped ADA in 2023, nobody expected it to blow up the way it did. The track blended Amapiano, R&B, and Afro beats into a sound that hit completely different. But the real magic wasn't just in the song, it was in the performance. Tyler and her choreographer posted that TikTok where she slides across the floor, drenched in water, pulling off Bacardi-inspired moves that snapped, popped, and went viral in seconds. Within weeks, the challenge had taken over TikTok. Tyler went from a local South African name to an international star almost overnight. By January 2024, ADA had broken into the Billboard Hot 100's top 10, peaking at number 7. And then came history. Tyler took home the very first Grammy for Best African Music Performance. Just like that, she became the face of African pop on the global stage. But success this quick, it always comes with side eyes, and that's when the Rihanna comparison started hitting even harder. Tyler was young, edgy, rocking high fashion fits, and fans couldn't ignore how familiar it all felt. The swag, the sultry red carpet looks, the wild hair flips, it was all giving Rihanna deja vu. One viral post on X joked, "What in a good girl gone bad is going on here? She's in her Rihanna era." Another comment went straight for the jugular. "If I was Rihanna, I'd be annoyed. annoyed. Tyler needs to find her own identity immediately. And honestly, you can see why people were saying that. Rihanna built her empire as the Caribbean cool girl from Barbados with crossover power. Tyler, she was being branded as the South African cool girl walking the same path. Even the industry setup felt copy-paste. Rihanna had Jay-Z and Def Jam pouring resources into her rise. Tyler, she's got epic records dropping millions into viral campaigns to make sure she's everywhere. And that's where label politics come in. Insiders claim Epic Records has been flooding TikTok and Twitter with paid campaigns since 2022, pushing Tyler's songs before most people even knew who she was. Her single Been Thinking mysteriously started showing up on timelines everywhere, even for people who had never searched her name. That same machine went into overdrive for Water, and it worked. People who had no idea who Tyler was couldn't escape her content. Her videos, her dance challenges, her looks, they were all being forced onto feeds, and that's exactly why critics started calling her an industry plant. But here's where things get wild, because normally, being compared to Rihanna would be a blessing. It puts you in elite company, but for Tyler, it's starting to feel like a curse. And fans believe that's no accident. For Tyler, what started as flattering comparisons to Rihanna is starting to feel like a curse. She's admitted herself that Rihanna was always an inspiration. In an Interview magazine feature, Tyler explained, "I do remember loving the story of Rihanna because she came from outside of America. It made me feel like my dream was achievable because, like you said, it's not something that happens every day for us." That's the twist. Yes, she's flattered, but she also wants out of Rihanna's shadow. Tyler told Cosmopolitan, "At the same time, I am my own artist. I'm Tyler, and I know as people get to know me and my music, they will see me as just Tyler." Translation: stop calling her the new Rihanna. She's tired of it. But here's the catch. Whether Tyler likes it or not, her career path looks almost identical to Rihanna's early grind, and fans think that's no accident. Some say it's by design. Just look at how Tyler's being styled at fashion events. At the 2024 Met Gala, she hit the carpet in a custom Balmain gown that turned every head. Then she showed up at the MTV EMAs rocking vintage Roberto Cavalli. Both looks carried that rebellious yet sexy energy Rihanna once used to dominate red carpets. And when Anna Wintour personally picked Tyler to join the 2025 Met Gala host committee, that sealed the narrative. Headlines started writing themselves. Rihanna 2.0 is here. But here's the problem. Being labeled the next Rihanna isn't just heavy, it's dangerous. Because if Rihanna feels like Tyler is creeping into her lane, things could get icy real quick. And let's be honest, Rihanna's not exactly known for staying quiet when it comes to protecting her legacy. That's when the jealousy whispers started taking over. Did Rihanna really see Tyler as a threat? Was she annoyed at the non-stop comparisons? Fans pointed to her cryptic Instagram post, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," and swore it wasn't just a random Bible verse. To them, it was a warning shot, Rihanna's way of saying, "I'm untouchable, no copycat can take my throne." And the fan comments only fueled the fire. One person wrote, "I don't think Tyler's failure is her fault. It's the people on her team and her fans who ruined her career. They made her think she was more talented than she was. They tried to gaslight us into supporting her just because she was brown and could dance a little." Another added, "I'm so happy people finally see that Tyler and her team stole her looks, her attitude, everything. They took it to the US and now everyone thinks she's just a copycat with light-skinned privilege." But here's the kicker. Tyler herself has been walking a thin line. On one hand, she praises Rihanna at every chance. She told British Vogue, "Coming from outside the States, I really looked up to her. She made me realize there's another way." But on the other hand, her tone has started shifting. She repeats, "Rihanna is Rihanna, but I'm my own artist. People will see me as Tyler." It sounds polite, but fans swear they hear shade between the lines, especially when she posted about someone secretly recording her. Many believe she was calling out shady industry folks, or maybe even Rihanna's camp trying to catch her slipping. True or not, it only added fuel to the fire. The narrative of tension brewing behind the scenes became impossible to ignore. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Rihanna isn't just an artist anymore, she's a billionaire mogul. She runs Savage X Fenty, Fenty Beauty, and has built an empire with a reputation for being untouchable. She's also a mother of 3 now, balancing legacy with dominance. So if Tyler's rise, even indirectly, threatens that empire, you better believe there could be quiet pushback from the powers that be. Rihanna's reputation is untouchable. She's not just an artist, she's a billionaire mogul and a mother of 3. And that's exactly why fans believe that if Tyler's rise threatens her, even indirectly, there will be quiet pushback. Labels, fashion houses, and media execs all know Rihanna runs the table. If she doesn't approve of Tyler, doors could close overnight. That's why the whispers of Rihanna's jealousy aren't just emotional, they might be strategic. Fans point out that despite Tyler's Grammy-winning smash, she hasn't landed the major collabs you'd expect. No Drake feature, no Beyonce co-sign, no Rihanna duet. For someone riding the biggest wave of her career, that's unusual. And it's got people wondering, could Rihanna be making behind-the-scenes calls to keep her throne secure? Now, that theory might sound extreme, but the industry is cutthroat. Remember that resurfaced 2005 clip of Rihanna on the Tyra Banks show? She joked about Jay-Z telling her there were only 2 ways out, through the door with a signed deal or through the window, and we're on the 29th floor. Fans never forgot it because it revealed how intense and dangerous the industry pressure can get.
There are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
And now, with Tyler being branded Miss Rihanna 2.0, people are asking, is Rihanna passing that pressure forward, making sure no one rises too close to her crown? But before we dive deeper into Sabotage theories, let's pull back the curtain on how Tyler's image looks manufactured from day one. From her style, to her sound, to her entire rollout, it's hard not to see Rihanna's blueprint stamped all over it. Think about it, Tyler never moved like an independent artist grinding from the ground up. She had the full machine behind her immediately. Epic Records was pushing her hard from day one. Back in 2022, when she wasn't mainstream yet, her single Been Thinking started mysteriously popping up everywhere. Later, fans discovered Epic was allegedly paying huge TikTok and Twitter accounts to force her content into timelines. Whether people search for her or not, that's why her rise feels inorganic. And by the time Water dropped, the campaign was flawless. Every For You page, every Explore feed, non-stop Tyler. Her choreography, her hook, her visuals, it was all over the place. Fans even joked they couldn't escape it, saying, I never even searched Tyler, but she's on my feed every day. That's algorithm flooding at its peak. And here's where the Rihanna comparisons grow louder. Back in 2005, Def Jam and Jay-Z branded Rihanna as the exotic, fashionable, cool girl from Barbados who could cross over globally. Now look at Tyler's rollout. It's nearly identical. Rihanna had Barbados. Tyler has South Africa. Rihanna had her best friend and creative partner Melissa Ford by her side. Tyler's got her creative director Tato from day one. Rihanna fused her Caribbean roots into global pop dominance. Tyler's doing the same, easing Amapiano into mainstream pop until the audience is fully locked in. Even their fashion arcs feel cloned. Rihanna went from playful stage looks to Met Gala stunners, pulling vintage Cavalli and shutting down every carpet. Tyler, she's already on that path from viral dance fits to couture gowns to a Met Gala invite and now being tapped for the 2025 Met Gala host committee. The similarities are impossible to ignore. And that's exactly why the comparisons aren't fading. They're getting louder. For some fans, it looks less like coincidence and more like design. Rihanna's early rise was textbook label branding, playful performances, sexy music videos, then a sudden transformation into a Met Gala showstopper. From VMAs to vintage Cavalli gowns, every step of her career was polished and calculated. And now, Tyler's following almost the exact same script, down to the 2025 Met Gala host committee invite. To some, that looks like inspiration, but to critics, it looks like cloning, and they say that's not by accident. Some even argue Epic Records chose Tyler not just for her talent, but for her image. In the US market, lighter-skinned or mixed-race non-American pop stars are often branded as more palatable for global audiences. And when Tyler burst into the mainstream, commentators couldn't ignore the contrast. Before her, African women breaking into the US mainstream, like Thames and Era Star, were darker-skinned. Tyler's lighter complexion, polished accent, and carefully styled image made her easier to sell to audiences who weren't used to embracing African women on such a big scale. Now, don't get it twisted. Thames carved her own lane with that unforgettable Drake collab, Wait For You. She's untouchable. But Tyler's rollout? It felt crafted to perfection, and that's where fans started side-eyeing. And it wasn't just her looks. Tyler's entire personality arc felt designed too. One moment, she was the playful teenager doing TikTok dances. The next, she was a sultry, high-fashion superstar dripping couture. Some critics accused her of lacking one consistent identity, saying she morphs into whatever version the label needs at the time. And if that's the case, then the Rihanna comparisons are never going away. Now imagine Rihanna watching all this unfold. She knows the game better than anyone. She is the game, and now she's seeing a younger artist rolled out with her exact formula, move for move. That's why the jealousy speculations feel believable, because it's not just Tyler borrowing Rihanna's looks. It's Epic Records trying to rebuild Rihanna's career from scratch. And if you're Rihanna, the last thing you want is someone positioned as your replacement. Which brings us back to the shade, because if Rihanna feels like her identity is being cloned and Tyler feels trapped under Rihanna's shadow, then the tension isn't just personal, it's structural. And once that perception hit social media, it was over. The feud blew up fast. It started with cryptic captions, subtle posts, and sly comments that fans swore were aimed at each other. And in today's industry, shade travels faster than music itself. Tyler's not the type to call names, but her posts always spark conversations. She even doubled down in an interview with Cosmopolitan, saying, "People want to tie me to something familiar to them. Cool, but at the end of the day, we're doing something no one's done before, and it can't really be compared to anyone." That line sounded polite, but fans caught the dig. The subtext? I'm not copying, I'm innovating. Meanwhile, Rihanna stayed in character, never saying names, but always knowing how to stir the pot. Her infamous Instagram post, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," wasn't seen as a random faith quote. For the Navy, Rihanna's loyal fan base, it was their queen flexing, reminding the world she's untouchable. But Tyler's fans read it differently. To them, it was Rihanna low-key admitting she sees Tyler as a threat. Either way, it sparked chaos online. Debates raged. Was Rihanna shading or just preaching? Was Tyler being disrespectful or simply misunderstood? And just when things couldn't get any hotter, Cardi B jumped in. Cardi had seen enough of the dragging Tyler was getting online, especially with the Rihanna comparisons, and she wasn't about to stay quiet. She snapped, unleashing her raw opinion for everyone to hear. Cardi B didn't hold back. She went straight for the jugular, saying, "Every single time I scroll my TikTok, there's a video of her and people talking-ish. Like, god dang, what do you want her to effing do? Cut her effing veins." That was raw, emotional, and it hit fans like a slap. In one moment, Cardi wasn't just defending Tyler, she was calling out the toxic culture that drags new artists and the industry itself for setting Tyler up to fail by forcing her into Rihanna's shadow. But once Cardi spoke, the internet went into overdrive. Fans turned the shade into an all-out war. Some accused Tyler of being obsessed with Rihanna's style, copying everything from the hair to the fits. Others fired back, saying Rihanna was just jealous, pointing out she hasn't dropped an album in years while Tyler's racking up Grammys, front row seats, and viral moments. One viral comment declared they manufactured her whole brand to be Rihanna light. Of course, Rihanna's annoyed. Nobody wants to be replaced in their own lifetime. Another defended Tyler. Instead of being bitter, she still lists Rihanna as one of her inspirations. That's how you know she's secure and genuine. And with that, both sides poured gasoline on the fire. What started as playful comparisons spun into a storyline of sabotage, jealousy, and survival. But here's the kicker. Shade in this industry isn't just petty. Shade has real consequences. It affects opportunities. It affects the bag. And if Rihanna doesn't vibe with Tyler, fashion houses might think twice before booking her. Big collabs might suddenly fall through. And sponsors, they might not want to take the risk. That's why fans believe Rihanna's jealousy isn't just emotional. It could be actively limiting Tyler's growth. Tyler knows it too. That's why she keeps doubling down on her individuality. In interviews, she stresses, "I'm my own artist. I'm Tyler." Because if she doesn't break out of Rihanna's shadow, she risks being remembered as nothing more than a copycat. And that's where things get dangerous. Because when industry politics collide with personal egos, it's no longer just shade. It looks like sabotage. And some insiders swear Rihanna might be doing exactly that. Quietly, behind the scenes. But at this point, it's bigger than Tyler and Rihanna. Rihanna once sang, "Make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world." But what we're watching right now is bigger than one lyric. It's the clash between an untouchable icon and a manufactured successor, and the way the industry profits from the tension. Because make no mistake, the music industry thrives on rivalries. From Nicki versus Cardi to Beyonce versus Kiara, these storylines lock fans in. And Tyler versus Rihanna, this is the latest show showdown, but with global stakes. Tyla represents a new generation of African artists breaking into the US mainstream. Rihanna stands as the gatekeeper, the legend who can open doors or slam them shut. And here's the real danger. Rihanna doesn't even have to say Tyler's name. Her influence in fashion, music, and business is powerful enough to quietly block collabs, restrict sponsorships, and stall momentum without lifting a finger. And if that happens, nobody will blame Rihanna. They'll just say Tyler fell off. Now, let's be fair, not all of this is Rihanna's doing. Some critics argue Tyler's own team set her up by leaning too hard into Rihanna's formula. By copying the blueprint so closely, they invited the very comparisons now dragging her down. But the whispers don't stop, because Rihanna hasn't released an album in nearly a decade, and Tyler's already Grammy certified, already front row at Paris Fashion Week, already hosting award shows with Pharrell and DJ Khaled. That's enough to make anybody raise an eyebrow, and that's why this story matters. Tyler versus Rihanna isn't just stan drama, it's a case study in how the industry recycles stars. When one legend slows down, the machine builds another. But the risk is clear. If the new one reminds people too much of the original, she may never escape that shadow. For Tyler, the future comes down to one thing: identity. If she keeps letting herself be labeled the new Rihanna, she'll always be second. But if she flips the script, maybe with a bold new sound, maybe with raw storytelling that sets her apart, she might carve a lane Rihanna can't touch. And if she does that, she could be the next global superstar. If not, she risks becoming the next casualty of industry sabotage. Because let's be real, this isn't just about ego, it's about survival. Tyler's fighting to prove she's not a clone, while Rihanna keeps reminding the world she's still the only girl in the world. Until one of them speaks out and addresses the tension directly, fans will keep fueling this fire, and the industry will keep cashing in on the smoke. So what do you think? Is Rihanna quietly sabotaging Tyler, or is the industry just playing its usual games? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to lock in. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you on the next one.